curious, are you going to be going crazy as soon as the Palm Pre launches? Like, how does that work out? Are you kind of committed to the iPhone, or?
We're not necessarily committed to the iPhone right now. It's the statistic. Yeah. Well, right now we're there. We actually, the first version of Stanza Mobile was for Google Android. They had a contest, a developers contest last March, and we couldn't get past the first round. So, so a little perseverance, I think, helped a little bit there. But I mean, we went for something that had devices and had the App Store. You know, we're going to look at the Palm Pre. It's going to be a business decision. Right. The adoption of the Palm Pre is going to really determine things. We really thought, you know, the Storm, right? The BlackBerry Storm was going to be the next killer device, and it bombed, right? I mean, David Pogue made our life really easy by absolutely panning it in the New York Times, because then we're like, okay, we don't have to worry about BlackBerry for a little while. So it's really going to be a decision about what's being used. At the end of the day, I think the stat came from like December or January, but the iPhone represents about 15% of the smartphone market, but 50% of the web hits, 50% of the web hits. This thing is being used for lots and lots of other stuff other than just you know, checking email like kind of BlackBerry. So right now, the right business decision is to stay on the iPhone. We do plan on doing Android. We do plan on doing some of these other things, but there's no timetable for that.
Can everybody hear Neelan, even back there? I just want to make sure that you're okay.
And what format do you use for Stanza? You just gave us a list of all the different types. Is there, I assume there's a dominant one for you, or do you just accept everything PDF to?
Stanza iPhone does EPUB, unsecured EPUB. So there's, if you have DRM, you can't do it. And then the e-reader format, which is owned by FictionWise, which is now owned by Barnes & Noble. Kind of funny in itself. But we support the e-reader format, both secure and unsecure. So, Stanza Desktop, we have a desktop tool that works on both Mac and Windows. Can read about 16 different formats unsecure, and can convert to about 13 or 14 different formats. So it's used a lot for converting to, say, the Kindle format, converting to, now it's used a ton to convert to Stanza format. But and it can take PDF and different things in. It's not a professional conversion tool by any stretch of the imagination, but if you have a personal document, it works great. Stanza Desktop. So I think at this point, I'll do a couple more slides and then I'll dive into the demo. The one thing we've done is, as opposed to going with kind of one vendor, one retail outlet, we decided we were going to open up Stanza and make it a platform and allow lots and lots of retailers to participate. So through Stanza's online catalog, you can get access to content from All Romance eBooks, Books on Board, FictionWise, O'Reilly, and Smashwords. December and January, Stephanie Meyer was extremely popular, just like the real world. A lot of what we've seen mimics mostly the real world. So people buy, you know, Obama, people are buying Stephanie Meyer, people are buying different things like that. We have lots of free content too. We've done some promotions with publishers. Harlequin and Random House have given us a bunch of free books, and we've done promotions with them. Feedbooks, Project Gutenberg, Munzie's, and Booklet are free book sources, and from there there's about 50,000 free books. Mostly classics, public domain off copyright stuff. So we don't have a call home feature in Stanza, so we don't know what people are doing. So when I say 8 million books have been downloaded, that's really all we know. We don't know how many of those books are actually read. We did do a survey on our website, and there's about 9,000 respondents to the survey, so we think it's reasonably accurate data. But we asked them, where's the primary location that you read? And in bed and commuting were the top two. But if you look at this list, this really has to do with the convenience of the device. It's always in your pocket, always on you, or in your handbag, and it allows for you to, you know, all of a sudden whip out your phone. I've read my daughter kids' books while standing in the grocery store line, just to kind of distract her from the chocolate, the candy. But it really is kind of a convenience factor. 2 write-ins mentioned the bathroom. One write-in actually put in, he couldn't decide whether he wanted to write in the bathroom or put in work, because he reads primarily in the bathroom at work. Another guy said a submarine because, and he called it his work, so he put it under work, but he reads on a submarine. And it's obviously a perfect thing for a sub person in sub doesn't see the light of day for 90 days. I talked a little bit about the publisher promotions. Pan Macmillan, we love Pan Macmillan because we launched July 13th with Stanza iPhone. On July 14th, we had an email from Pan Macmillan UK. They were really the first publisher to take notice of us. They kind of, before we were interesting, before we had interesting numbers, they kind of took notice. They have a bunch of excerpts in Stanza that point you back to that you can download and that points you back to their website to buy the entire book. Random House does some really neat stuff where they take backlists of certain authors and makes those books available for free. And then you can obviously get you used to those authors and hopefully you'll purchase the book that's coming out. Well, that have come out recently. Harlequin did a huge promotion for their 60th anniversary. They wanted to get every woman to read a book. And they made about, actually now 16 titles available through Harlequin. Each one of their imprints, they made one book from their imprint to introduce people to their imprints. And then this is kind of my favorite promotion, but at London Book Fair this year, I think it was on a Monday at 4 p.m., I was talking to the digital person from Bloomsbury, and Stephanie Duncan, and she was like, oh, and we were kind of finishing up our meeting, and she goes, oh, you know, don't tell anyone, but we just got shortlisted for the Orange Prize, and apparently a very, very prestigious prize, and we're going to give this book away for free for 24 hours. We're like, oh wow, cool. From, you know, how are you going to give it away on their website? Well, why don't we give it away through Stanza? They were like, okay, cool. So we created a UK-only catalog. So if you were in the UK and you hit the catalog, you would see this free giveaway. If you were anywhere else in the world, you wouldn't see it. So we can honor territory rights. And we had this up and running in less than 24 hours for this promotion. So kind of very cool promotion. We got to highlight the fact that we can handle territory issues. We also do standalone book applications. So this is basically a private label of Stanza. We pull out the online catalog, pull out a bunch of the other features, and it's just the reader and the book. You can purchase these titles from the App Store directly, use your iTunes account, and it's done really well. The O'Reilly book, O'Reilly's blogged about this. If this was considered a book, which it isn't by BookScan, this would have been the #2 technology book sold in January, February, and March. So it gives you an idea of kind of what the power is. Obviously, you know, a little biased given it's being sold to iPhone users. Hunted is another book that we did. This was the first book that went live as a book application, day and date of the physical book going live. So very cool. It's a, I think, 5th book in a series of vampire teen romance books.